part 2 of the scenarios, and then we're going to jump right into scenario number 3. For the past 2 months, you have been talking with John, with whom you met through Instagram, because you two have a few mutual friends. However, he recently moved to New York, but you guys hit it off and have been talking every day. You guys make plans for him to fly you out to New York for a weekend to finally meet. Sorry, to finally meet each other. He picks you up from the airport. You two go on a nice dinner date and see the city. Later that night, John attempts to initiate sex, but you are not in the mood and still feel like it's early on. He gets upset, and this causes you two to argue.
I thought you was gonna be like, he ain't paying for your trip back. He stranded you out there, and you was left in the city by yourself.
For me, that's just red flag. I know a lot of people think like, oh, you shouldn't fly somewhere and think that you don't have to sleep with someone. No one should be expecting that this is gonna happen. Everybody should be going off vibes, right? Cause like me and my man, I ain't know what was gonna happen when I went on my first date. We went off vibes, you know? We didn't know it was gonna be a second date or a third date or whatever, because you going off, you can't plan for the future if you not, if things are not happening. So I don't like when people say, oh, if you came out there or excuse me, you got on a plane and you knew what was up. I hate when they say that. We have the right not to sleep with somebody. If somebody buys dinner, we're not obligated to, we don't owe them anything other than a thank you, you know? That's it. So I don't like that people think that women, if they fly out somewhere, they should be sleeping with the person or they owe them sex or whatever. So that's just a red flag. Like he ain't the man for me. You know, I mess with real smooth people. So I ain't nobody pressed about no sex.
People or person?
Huh?
People or person?
A person, obviously my man. But yeah, I just feel like that's a red flag for me. Like if you pressed about some sex or like it ain't for me. So red flag. And I just feel like we need to let people know we have the right to say no. I don't care if I'm in the room, we kissing and somebody feel off, I still can say no.
Absolutely.
It's never too late to say no. I hate that people say that, oh, how you wearing this and you want somebody to treat you like this. And like we are able and should be able to wear, do, and say whatever we want to say. We can say, yeah, I want to have whatever with you and be able to change our mind once whatever happens. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just don't like the people like, oh, you flew out there. What you think was going to happen? What did you expect him to want? But on another hand, I feel like you need to also know who you dealing with before you fly somewhere too. Because I don't know. People could be whoever they want over the internet. So I don't know. It's both ways. I still don't think it's a red flag and he wouldn't be ever getting talked to again.
I agree. I agree that a woman or anybody should be able to say no in the midst of and during whenever, at whatever point they uncomfortable and they don't want to go any further. I believe that person has the right to say no, and whoever they're dealing with should respect that. Point blank, period. I don't care. Also, I believe just because you flew out there doesn't mean you have to be expected to sleep with the person. But I think you need to be clear. You need to have your own stuff. Especially because of the scenario. If it's like someone that you've known for a very long time, you met up with them before, you trust them. With this scenario, you need to protect yourself. So if you're flying to a city that you're not from to meet a guy, you need to make sure you're in your own hotel or family that's down there, whatever the case may be. You got your own place to stay. You have enough funds to get you out of any situation that you may be in, and you're not relying on this person for anything. That's number one. Two, be clear with them. Like, let them know, because it's not, I don't want to say that it's that we can say that they shouldn't expect it, because they can do what they can feel how they want to feel. They may be getting different vibes than you. They may be vibing that they about to get some, and you may be vibing like you're not about to give them anything. So you can't knock them from wanting it or trying to get it. But just let them know straight up, like, no, this is not what's gonna happen. We gotta get to know each other more. We can hang out. We can go to dinner. We can go to a bar, or whatever the case may be. We could talk and chill. Whatever the case may be, we could just be around each other to get to know each other in person. Because talk to somebody on the phone is completely different than when you meet up with somebody. Because I've had a whole situation on the phone and met up with the person and was no chemistry. So it's like you can really be fooled, or it's just different. So just be upfront and clear, in my opinion. That's how I will roll, and I will always protect myself. I will always be able to get out of that situation if I needed to. I will not be relying on this person to get me to destinations, fly me from where I'm at to home. If I needed to book me a room that night, I would have the funds to do that. And yeah, because you never know. Because it's some guys that'll be like, well, you're not messing with me, then get out. And you be out in the cold. I was watching, I don't know if you guys watch what's it called, Rap Shit on HBO Plus. It's Issa Rae new show, and it's kind of like based on, you seen it?
I haven't. I'm gonna watch it now.
It's like it's a scenario that's similar to that. And he kicked her out on one of the episodes. He kicked out of her. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but it's like, it reminds me of that. And it's like, you got to be prepared to take care of yourself if something like that was happening. I don't care if you got enough to just get you a room for the night and fly home. That's fine, but be prepared, because people not nice, and you got to be like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah, I agree. Like, if you go somewhere, don't go somewhere with like no money and then you saying I'm stranded or nothing like that. Like, don't just intend for stuff to go bad, but why wouldn't you have at least enough money for like a flight, or like Kiana said, a hotel room for a night or two, and so you able to get yourself a flight. That's why I say for that part. And then I decided to like word it how I worded it, because for like, oh, you guys been talking for like 2 months, because I know there are some scenarios where it's like the whole thing that like rappers might fly somebody out or something, and that's what type of time they on. So I worded it kind of like, oh, you guys been talking for 2 months, and it's a little something there. So if it's that type of scenario and you trying to pursue more or whatever, and that person reacts like that because the first time you meet him, you weren't ready to have sex, like James said, that's a red flag. If it's something like the rapper stuff and the term getting flued out and all that stuff, then that's a whole different situation. But if it's like the first night that you meet him and then he reacts like that, like reacts poorly like that, then that's probably not even, that's good that you didn't waste that much time, basically.
I feel like the rapper situation is the same as well. If you get flued out, as they say, by someone, still have enough to get yourself back, because that's where, I mean, I remember it being in the headlines when that happened. He didn't pay for her flight back when she turned him down. So it was like, they cannot pay for something too. Like, they'll be the first ones to be like, okay, you don't want to have sex with me, deuces.
No, I would
So
say like y'all both might be mutually understanding that that's what type of time you're on. Like, still have money to get yourself home, or just have money in general for your own safety. But I'm saying,
but
like,
you might initially probably do be having that energy over the phone, or even with the rappers, and or I don't even want to say rapper, with like somebody who probably got a little money, you just trying to just be a hot girl or something like that, or with the person that you've been talking to for months, you might have that little energy, but when you meet that person or in that moment, you're not feeling it, so you still can turn it down, and they should be okay with it, or they don't gotta be okay with it. They just gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah, I feel like rappers or people with money, they allow their status or whatever to speak for them, and then they don't be having probably no personality. I don't know because I ain't into that type of stuff or whatever. So I've never met up with one, never tried, like, so I'm not speaking from experience. I'm speaking from, I know it's a lot of corny men out here that have a facade on where they are rappers or they this person but don't have no type of personality, ain't got no swag with no woman for real, don't know how to talk to. So it's like I could really see that happening more often than normal. Somebody meeting up with somebody they thought was gonna be something or expected like a cool, vibing, chill person, and they ain't that. And it's like, oh, I was on that time, but nah, change of plans. But as we talk about like expectations of people, I also think women, or I'm gonna just say people in general, shouldn't expect people like if you go on a date that you gonna get paid for it. Because I feel like we always say what men expect, but women expect a lot of stuff too. Unless y'all talk about it like, oh, I want to take you out to dinner. Somebody asked me to take me out to dinner, then I expect that you're paying for it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm guilty of never thinking I'm ever paying for no date. I've never ever even thought one time in my head that I'm gonna go half on. I'm gonna pay for my meal if I'm out on a date with a man.
Have you ever
Absolutely
faked it like you was gonna pay, or
no. No, I've paid for a date like with my man or whatever, like just to be like, okay, I'll pay for you, I'll treat you today. I mean, yeah, that, but not as far as no date or nah, hell no. No, never. So I'm guilty of that, but I feel like women, we need to stop. We at least need to be like, because I just feel like when men do stuff for us, they think they expect things. Like, don't let a man buy you a drink at the bar. He think he owe you for the night. Like he gonna be all up on top of you, like all down your back. I just don't like it. So it's like I feel like we don't need to walk in things with expectations of men either, unless it's your man. Like I cannot take my purse. I expect everything to be paid for. Even with my siblings sometimes. If I'm with my sister, I might not never put my card out. Cause why? You know? Especially if older. I'm the little sister. Now I'm just playing. But yeah, I feel like we guilty sometimes of expectations of men as well. It might not be on a scale of sex and all that stuff, or maybe it is. Maybe women is out here trying to get their little self wet. I don't know. But for the like paying for stuff, I'm guilty. I'm speak for myself. I'm guilty. I've never ever
oh?
thought, hey, I'm paying for my meal.
So with the date situation, I feel like whoever asks for the date should pay for the date. And typically men ask women on dates for the most part. I'm sure it's men who get asked on out on dates or whatever the case may be, but I feel like whoever asks for the date should pay for the date. Now, if a woman asks for a date and a man is like, "No, I'll take care of it," that's fine too. But if a woman asks a man out, she should fully intend to pay. Same thing if a man asks a woman out, he should fully intend on paying. And if the woman is like, we could split it or I'll pay for it, and if he's okay with that, fine. Same thing, vice versa. I feel that way. I've never asked nobody on a date, so I never had to pay for a date. But like when I am out with my guy, like I would offer to pay. He don't like for me to pay, but I've paid probably. I did the like let the waitress pick the card type of thing or whatever. She ended up picking his card. So it was like I never really had to pay for a day. I don't think so. No. So yeah, so like it just depends. But I wouldn't mind. Like I wouldn't mind because I feel like when you with somebody for a little while, it's like it don't matter or whatever if you have it. Now if you with someone and you know that person is financially more their finances are looking a little better than yours, they're gonna naturally pay anyway. So and they know you, so they know you probably can't pay or not gonna pay, so they're gonna take care of it. But if you can handle it, I'm sure they wouldn't mind every now and again. So it all depends. But I feel like whoever asks for the date, like if you're just meeting somebody or whatever the case may be, and you trying to know someone, if you ask someone a date, you need to pay or intend on paying. Whatever happens, happens. But you should fully intend on paying for that date, in my opinion.
It's funny that you say if the person is more financially better than you or whatever the term is, because my boo, if I say I'm paying, he don't care. If I just ask him for some money, he gonna let me pay for it. So he different. Like he want to be treated you know. So I don't know, that's funny because I'm just thinking like what if somebody be like hey, you want to catch this movie, and they not saying let me take you out to the movies, they saying you want to catch this movie. Do you take that as like I want to take you out to the movies, or hey, I just want somebody to go to the movies with me? Like, you know.
It depends. And then too, you can always offer. And I'm not gonna front. It's gonna look better on the guy's part if he's like, don't worry about it, I got it. If he's into you that way. If y'all just on a buddy situation, he might pay for it anyway, still. But I would probably offer to pay for my part. It depends on the situation I'm in. But if he pays for it, it'll make him look better. It definitely will, because like me personally, I'm girly and I'm like a lady. So I like to feel like I'm being taken care of by my person. So I would like for the person to just pay and offer or whatever. That's just me though. But everybody is different. Like whatever people like and however they are, that's for them, and I'm okay with that as well.
Yeah, I never had a time where I had to pay or a person looked at me to go half or nothing. So I don't know that experience, but that'd be funny. Like I would love to just be there just to see, like, cause I'm gonna let them know, like I had no intentions on paying. You asked me out. I wouldn't be here if you didn't suggested it or whatever. It's not gonna be because I can't pay for it. It ain't like we going on like to
See,
Aruba.
I would be the opposite. I would pay for it and I probably wouldn't talk to that person again.
I want him
Yep.
to every bit of it.
I have like the movie scenario, like my freshman year of college. So like we're all like 18 or whatever. Me and my friend, she was already talking to the guy for like maybe a month or so. And then the guy that just kind of like said like, oh, like let's go see this movie or whatever. Um that would have been my first time like going anywhere with him. So like us four went. So like they went up, like the guys, we're like 18, but they went up and like went to the kiosk thing and bought 2 tickets for them two. And then we just like we looked at each other, me and my friend, and it was like, oh, okay. When it was our turn to go to the kiosk, and it was just us two. And it was like, yeah, it wasn't like, can I take you out on a date, blah blah blah, but it was just like, you suggested it. Movies are $10.
What did you guys do?
We went, we saw the movie. So me and you guys know the friend from freshman year. Me and the friend, we bought our tickets or whatever. I think it was see like Creed 2 or one of the Creeds. We bought our tickets. We saw the movie with the person, with the guys or whatever. And like it wasn't, huh?
Yeah, that's where y'all messed up. Y'all should have bought tickets to another movie and went somewhere else and saw.
We rode with them. We rode with them from campus.
No, I was talking about in the theater, and that's why I say be prepared to get yourself home.
We rode with them from the.
They go sit next to each other and watch that movie together, because you never really see guys going to the movie together. So go sit by yourselves and watch the movie, and we'll be somewhere else, and that would have been me. But people different.
Yeah. I got like 5 of those. So, okay, not 5 of those. I have another story that was to the Cheesecake Factory. And, it was fine or whatever. Okay, it wasn't fine. I already didn't like the date anyway because I'm a waitress and they were being really mean to the waitress or whatever. And it's me and the same friend, but this is sophomore year of college now with 2 different people. And her guy was like actually her boyfriend. Like they were already boyfriend and girlfriend. and you know, the person like come and they ask like how you splitting it up or whatever, and the guys they said separate, like everybody's separate. So even her boyfriend put her like, I don't know, he just got his own meal. And they shared a dessert and she got a meal and put the dessert on her meal, on her bill or whatever. And then the guy that again, that was my first time meeting the person, and she had already been dating her guy or whatever. And he was like, "Oh, maybe I'll get the next one." And like
So
Young
you
said, like I
guys are on like
dated,
a
and I
double
never,
date?
huh?
You guys are on a double date, or was it like some like group thing?
It was like a double date, I would say. The first one, I guess, like freshman year, that one could have been perceived as like kind of a group thing because that wasn't like, oh, I'm asking you out on it. Like it wasn't like that. But I'm
Okay, well
not
I
gonna
can understand that
lie,
then. I can understand that one then.
I thought the person was still gonna pay though, because the person turned out like liking me or whatever. Anyway, but then but the sophomore year one, I say that one was more a date. I say that, and that's part like that's why he was like, oh, yeah, I'll get the next one or whatever. But I already done like their actions toward like the server anyway. And it was just like, I don't know. I think that's how they were because that was our first dates, even if it is like, oh, you don't know, just our first date. Like even her boyfriend said separate and he made her pay for the dessert. You could at least got the dessert.
Mm.
That y'all
Yeah,
share.
but I feel like that made you have like standards to a certain, you know, like you got to have experience, you know, learn from them. So it's like you was 18 when that happened. So I'm pretty sure you learned from it, right?
Yeah. I'm raised by my dad more so like now. So my dad do say like don't let a guy pay for everything because he's gonna think that basically what JM was saying, like if a guy pay for your drink or something at the bar, they might think that you there for the night or something like that. You know, just
Yeah,
so my
no,
dad always say that.
totally. With strangers. With
Yeah.
strangers, yes. But if you on a date with somebody or you at the point where you was asked on a date and you comfortable enough to go out with them, that's different. But like strangers in the bar, like guys be trying to buy you all the time. So like when they try to offer money to you or buy you things and you don't even know them, of course turn them down. But like if someone is like on a date with you, asks you out on a date and they not paying, I don't like that. Like I'm not with that.
So
And
I
that's
got
probably
a
why they don't second dates.
I'm sorry. I have a question though. So I heard, like you said, when a person asks for the date, they have to
Mm-hmm.
pay. So if I be
I
like,
think they
hey,
said men don't paying.
right. So if I ask my boyfriend, like, hey, I want to do this, I should be planning on paying for it.
So when I'm saying these scenarios, I'm really thinking about like if you're in like the dating phase, like not if you like in a long term committed relationship, because I feel like we could pay either or. Like when you get to that point, it's not who pays or whatever. It's just like y'all together,
Right.
y'all been together for a while. It really doesn't matter. But I'm like talking about like when you initially meet somebody and you're getting to know someone and you guys are not in a relationship yet. So or
Well,
dating around, that's what I'm speaking of when I say dates. Not just a date in a relationship type of thing or marriage or anything like that. Cause that's different. But when you're trying to get to know someone, because I feel like you learn people, you learn people while you're dating. So you see the things that they do. And if it's something that they do repeatedly, that's who they are, you know, because sometimes people could do things initially and then it fades away. So that's who they, you know, their character truly comes out. But I'm
but
just
people can start stuff in the dating phase, and once they really stuck in, they can change too. So don't let the dating phase trick you into thinking that it is, because there's some finesses out here.
yeah. Well, Judge Mathis said you won't really know a person till you need a full year to really learn somebody. So I don't know if that's necessarily true because I know people change after marriage and all that stuff too. But you need to at least get to know people. 'Cause people do finesse, but you have
But I'm
options out there.
advice from Judge Mathis, but
You said what?
I don't know if I'm gonna take any advice from Judge Mathis after some stuff he said.
Oh yeah, I fully don't watch. I have boycotted Judge Mathis because of an episode, but I'm saying before when I was watching him religiously, now I don't. But that's another story for another podcast.
Okay.
For the past 4 months, you and John have been dating. The two of you have been spending a lot of time together and having a nice time. You and John have a few mutual friends, so somehow you see a post from his ex-girlfriend about how she is healing from her past relationship with him. She goes in detail about how she was repeatedly cheated on, manipulated, strung along for over 2 years. You show him the post, and he does admit that he was unsure in what he wanted last year. So this is a recent ex-girlfriend. So he did string her along and cheat on her multiple times. However, John states that he is no longer that person and has matured. So this is basically like you hear about him and his past relationship, but it was like a very recent past relationship. So it's like, do you think, people might change or what?
For me, I just feel like ain't nobody had nobody like I had them. So it's like I'm not gonna base nobody off of another person, all depending on what it is. Cause what's the word? I'm just me, right? That says a lot. That's all I can say. It's a lot. So I feel like if he may have not took you serious or wanted to do this with you and do this with you, but it could be different for me. But I don't know if I would be okay with a person that was like a woman beater. And I find out like, oh, he was whipping my ass and he said, oh no, I'm different. I'm not saying that just because I'm me, he ain't gonna whip my ass, So it all depends on. And then I don't know, a cheater isn't just a cheater. When I say a cheater, is like, is you keeping it real with me? Like if we just dating, you might have other people you're dating with. I don't know. I don't like no liar. I don't like no real. You might just be a cheater, but people can't change. But I just see myself as being a different individual that I have people differently. When they get me, they want to keep me. And why would you cheat on me? So that's
Um, so like I agree a little bit. I agree that like people I wouldn't necessarily base what that's their relationship, And it's admirable that he admitted to it because a lot of people be like, man, she bitter. I ain't do her, like wouldn't even own up to it at the, very least. But so it's good that he admitted to it. But I would be I would pay attention because I do believe people show you who they are. And a lot of times we ignore those signs. We ignore stuff because we think, okay, it'll get better or it'll change, or he didn't really mean it, or she didn't really mean it, or whatever the case may be. So it's like we let things go. So if he really gonna be a cheater and he's like that, you'll see it. It's just up to you to move differently, change the situation, get out of it, or let him know, or whatever the case may be. Is you'll know. I feel like we know stuff, we just ignore it when we want to. So that's how I feel about that.
I do think like what James said, like people have different relationships and stuff. So it's like I know you guys hear that saying where it's like um you see him doing everything with her or for her that you begged him to do for years or stuff like that, or for months or whatever. Basically, I do know that people have different relationships, and like Kiana said, like he didn't try to like lie about it or just dismiss it or make it seem like she was just being bitter or something. That already shows that he matured somewhat because he did say like it was me, like basically I was at fault or whatever. So I think I would take that into consideration. Also, like JM said, if it's something like, oh, he beat it on me and did this and this, like I'd be like, like that's scary at that point. But if it's like, oh, I wasn't sure what I wanted and stuff, then it's like okay. But if it's cheating like a million times or something, like you just kept cheating and you were just a dog, I'd have to take that into consideration, and I would probably, I don't know. I don't know.
And people only do what you allow them to do. You know, like if you don't put up with it, it won't happen. Period. You wouldn't have got cheated on a million times if you didn't let him cheat on you a million times. You could have walked away the first time, second time, third, before it got to a million. So people only do what you allow them to do. Not saying that it's right, but you got to get out of the situation. Like I'm speaking, speak from experience. Like you let things go. So it's like you accept and allow things. So you can only put so much on the other person. Like not saying that somebody beat you because you deserved it, but as far as like cheating and stuff like that, you can control the situation. You can always walk away. You can do what you got to do in that situation, but you stayed a million times. You stayed all those times to let him do that, because after the first time you accepted, the second time you accepted it, that's on you. What dude say? Fool me once, shame. What the J. Cole song goes like? Like it's on you if you fool me twice. I mean, it's on me if you fool me twice. So like, yeah.
Yeah, people just really have to take accountability for what part you played and stuff, because like Kiana said, a lot of stuff we see and we ignore, like we see it, and it's like, what are you waiting on for it to change? Just magically change, like, so it's we gotta place blame on ourselves as well. But
right, you don't even get the opportunity to grow.
Right, this scenario reminds me of a Love and Hip Hop episode, or not episode, but season, when like K Michelle was on there, and she was telling about her past of being with Memphis Hits, or whatever his name is, Memphis Hits or something, him, and he was currently married to LaToya, Lil Wayne's ex-wife, baby mama, Reggie mama, her. So it's like she telling you all this, oh, he beat me, he did this, he did that, he did that, woo, woo. And it's like you defending this man because he's a good man to you in your eyes or whatever. You can't take away from her experience because you said you think because he's good to you, and then comes out he's crazy as hell years later. You know what I mean? It's like, that's when I say, like, I don't know, you got to pay attention to, every relationship is different, and you probably don't have him like I have him, but then again, it's like stuff don't just erase out of people. You know what I mean? Especially, you said it was a year ago. That wasn't that long ago. I don't know if I could give a man that is whooping women, knocking their teeth out and stuff, and then he say, oh, I'm a different man. I don't know if I want to stick around and see if that's out of him or not. You know what I'm saying? It's too many men out here. That's why another reason why I wouldn't date a man if he got like baby mom drama, or it's a baby on the way. Like, it's no reason. It's too many out here to just settle for or prepare myself to be in drama or mess, So it's like, now that I think about it, I kind of want to pay attention to the woman before, kind of want to like keep my eyes open. But then again, every relationship is different. Every person is different with, my boyfriend now, my ex can't say he had me like this. You know what I mean? So it's just real different. So.
Yeah, I do think people need space to grow. That's what I was saying, trying to say earlier. Like if a guy repeatedly cheats on a woman and then he jumps into another relationship and he never felt any repercussions of losing a woman or any guilt or anything bad happened to him for doing this to this woman, and he hasn't been through any woes or anything like that, he might not change or whatever. It's like they have to go through stuff and grow and like realize like this ain't what it is. This is not the person I want to be, or I want to be better for the next woman I'm with.